Hey, what's up guys, Machineheart Tristan here, and I'm going to be telling you a hilarious story / epic story about the very first time that I ran away. So sit back, get comfortable. This may be a long one if you know what I'm saying, but I'm going to get right into it. So basically it was in the 6th grade, so about 4 years ago, and we started planning in April. Now as a kid, you know, obviously everybody kind of tried to run away or do whatever because they thought everything was so bad and everything, when in reality it's really not. So we had planned to run away, my friend and I, and he was in 6th grade as well, and we kind of thought everything was going to shit, I guess you could say, and we weren't very happy with our parents. You know, my parents got divorced like a year before, and my new dad's girlfriend, who was becoming my stepmom, I didn't really like her that much, and all that other stuff, so I was kind of like, you know, I need to get out of here or whatever. So my friend and I start planning this epic runaway thing. You know, like, okay, we really gotta get out of here. We can't just sprint from our house and see how far we can get before, you know, whatever comes, my parents come to get us or whatever. So I was like, okay, so we had this all planned out. We had like where we were gonna go, what we were gonna bring, everything like that. So I go to my friend's house, and it is his birthday, which was 4 years ago yesterday. So I'm recording this on the 13th. So his birthday was May 12th. And it was 2009, so we're back at his house, and we had already planned this thing out for months. I'll tell you guys what the whole plan is in just a second. You know, don't be leaning forward in your chair, guys. I know you guys are excited, lol. So him and I have been planning this thing forever, and we're like, all right, we're gonna do this at your birthday party because no one would suspect it, and we'll all be over. So basically, we had a friend named Jacob, and my other friend who we were planning to run away with was Brad. Now Jacob didn't know of this plan at all. He didn't know we were gonna try to run away or anything like that. He was completely unaware to the whole situation. So we all planned to. So there was me and him at Brad's party that night, and we had planned to run away that night and just kind of leave him and leave everybody, leave our phones behind as well, and just get as far away as we possibly can. Okay, so this is kind of like an unrealistic plan at first, but the first part of the plan was pretty solid. So here's what our plan was: pack all our belongings, including like, oh God, like I even brought my gold that my parents got me for like Christmas or whatever. No, when they went to Canada and when they went to Ohio, they got me some gold at those places, like gold leaf in like a little container. So I had planned to bring that with me, pawn it off if I could. I don't even know if you can pawn if you're under 18 or whatever the deal is. Maybe you need parent consent or whatever the deal is. And I also thought of bringing my I brought my PS3 as well, PSP, I'm sorry, so I could sell that as well, so we just have enough pocket money to, you know, buy food or whatever. And we also had a bunch of canned food from Brad's mom's cabinets and cupboards and stuff, because, you know, like, this will stay the longest, this will last us the longest, and this will do us the best. So basically, in the middle of the night that night, once Jacob was asleep, you know, it was a normal birthday party up until that point, you know, cake and pizza, and that's really all I remember of that part. And then, so we both had our backpacks there, and I had biked over there after school, because I just told my parents, you know, I'm going to go over here after school, you guys don't need to take me, because it was right next to our school, his house was right next to our school. So I go over to his house after school, you know, we're hanging out, we're still planning before Jacob gets there, and then we had everything completely worked out. And now Jacob got there, you know, we did the cake and all that stuff, like I said, and we were packing everything ready to go. And it was about 10, 11 at night. I think it was actually maybe like 1 in the morning. Yeah, sorry. It was like 1 in the morning at the time, because Jacob and us had stayed up late, and then I went and got Brad, and I was like, okay, man, we got to get out of here. So basically, we go into the kitchen, like I said, and we raid all the perishable, non-perishable foods, and we put them all in there, in like my backpack or whatever, as well as like 2 changes of clothes or whatever, is like as much clothes as we can bring. I don't remember, it was like 2 or 3 changes. We also brought some toilet paper, we had a lighter, so what we could do, and we also brought a pot. So basically our plan was to like take up river water or any water we could possibly find, I guess, that's not like actual, has dirt in it or whatever. So, and we would boil the, you know, bad stuff out of it, because I knew that at the time. I knew, you know, boiling purified water to an extent, I guess, you know, if there's like particles in it, well, there's your problem. But so we had all that planned out. We had all this stuff. We had even a checklist of stuff that we needed to bring, you know, like toilet paper and lighter and pot, and the pot was very important so we could cook our perishable foods as well as, you know, purify water or whatever. I'm not sure if we brought like water bottles or canteens, but I don't exactly remember. But so we ended up getting that stuff loaded into both of our backpacks. And the bad thing was is we did not have a steady tent. We had a little tiny, it was a round, you guys know those weird kind of tents. I'll pop up a picture on here, but one moment. Okay, sorry, I just had to type that there. But yeah, I'll pop up a picture. This is what the tent looks like, and it was like 3 little like rings or whatever, or 4 rings actually, and it would extend to be about 6 foot long, so you could just kind of lay in there and go to sleep. This is not a good tent for anything really. It only fits one person, so we each had to have one, and we had those with us as well. But those do not compact down. Those do not go down into like this nice little tiny, you know, canister of tent material. Like, you know, guys, a tent, like when you pack a tent, it becomes like super small, and about the size of like an aerosol can or whatever. Yeah, this tent, no, it had to be the length, it had to be the width of the rings. So we just had to have the rings all bunched up, and that was as small as the tent could possibly get. So we all packed up our bags, and then we finally ended up getting outside the house that night. Now, we had left our phones because we were aware of GPS tracking. And keep in mind, we're 11 or 12 at the time, so this is pretty clever here. So we left our phones back, you know, so they couldn't track us or whatever. And we lock all the doors in the house when we're leaving. And this will play a part in the story later. So we lock all the doors, and we finally get outside. Now, his bike is in his bike shed, and I have mine outside because I just left it outside, you know, whatever. And so I'm on my back. I'm like, all right, Brad, let's get going. And he's like, well, I need to get my bike. And so it is super dark outside at the moment. It's like pretty dark, and the moonlight is enough to see the combination on the padlock for his bike shed so we can get to his bike. And so we're like, oh my god, what do we do? What do we do? You know, we don't have anything to see. And then we're like, we're trying to get back inside to get something to see, or like a cell phone to shine light on or whatever. And then I'm like, wait a minute, dude, we have the lighter. So I pull that out, use some of our fluid, and we light that up, and he's able to get his bike, and we close that, lock it, and leave. And so, because we couldn't get back into the house, of course, because we locked our doors on the way out, and we didn't bring a house key or anything. So we're heading down the street, and this street is kind of right next to a railroad. Now, this railroad track takes us north, and we plan to go north up through Oregon and into Washington and then into Canada. So basically, we took this, we are on our bikes, and we are on this railroad track. And railroad tracks, because of the fucking railroad tracks, like the wood pallets, you are not able to ride a bike very well. Okay, so there's gravel surrounding it, and then there's those wood pallets that go like so. Yeah, that sounded terrible. But yeah, you can't really ride your bikes on those. So we had to like walk our bikes basically, but they'll do us good later, I guess you could say. So we're just going for like, it's been like 30-45 minutes at this point, and we have established some serious ground. And you know, we're talking like, yeah, this is gonna go awesomely, man. I'm pretty excited to finally get away from my damn house, you know, whatever. And we look over, and to our left hand side we see this homeless guy, and he's just chilling in this tent. And you can see that it's a homeless guy chilling in a tent because it's right by the side of the road, kind of off the railroad tracks, a little bit out of town. And yeah, like I said, we've gone like 2.5 miles at this point. And he was in his tent because we can see he had a lantern in there, and it was lit up so we can see the outside of the tent kind of in light, and you can see that he's inside of it. So we kind of get freaked out at this point, and we're like, oh god, you know, there's a homeless guy, and you know, let's keep going, let's go faster. But we started thinking and actually talking about the repercussions of our actions. We're like, bro, let's think about this. No more showers, no more cell phones, no more, you know, nice warm bed, no more, you know, TV, cell phones, all this other great amenities that we have right now that we've taken for granted until this point, just to run away. So we're talking about all this great stuff. It's like, man, you know, it's really not that bad, and it's you know, everything's gonna be fine. Yeah, my parents are fighting, but that ends, and I'm glad that I stayed today because everything's going so well. And, you know, we kind of came to this realization, like, what the fuck are we doing? Like, honestly, like, we are way out, well, not way out of town, but, you know, a few miles away from home. It's the middle of the night. We could have been kidnapped or whatever, and we are prepared to make a full-scale runaway. And our literal plan was to, this is the unrealistic part, so go up through Oregon and Washington into Canada, go all the way across Canada, because we figured they'd stop looking for us at that point, go all the way across Canada, hijack a plane. Literally, this is the, like, most unrealistic part. The Canada part was pretty solid indeed, but this is the most, and, like, fly to, like, India or the closest country we can get, and, like, start working there and make a life for ourselves or whatever. So, that was absolutely ridiculous. That part of the plan was, but the actual going into Canada or whatever, so they would stop looking for us, didn't seem that unrealistic, because, you know, I think after just runaways, they just kind of stopped caring after a while. So, eventually, like, man, this is really bad. And this is kind of like, as we're seeing the homeless guy, we're kind of discussing this. You know, he wasn't, like, out of his tent or anything, but we're like, do we really want that life? And, you know, we kind of, like, look at the homeless tent or whatever, and we're just, you know, man, we should turn around and go back home. So, we end up turning around and starting back home, and then once we get on the road again off of the railroad tracks, which was pretty close to home, my friend's riding his bike, and he falls over. He, like, fell over all his supplies, like, fell on his back, and then he, like, fell into, like, a tree or something, and I just started cracking up laughing. Like, I'm surprised, like, people around in the houses, because we were, like, near neighborhoods at this point, didn't, like, come out of their house and, like, what the fuck are you guys doing? Because he's like, help me up, you dick, and I just started laughing, like, I was just going off, because it was hilarious, you know, that was, like, the really funny part that night, because he'd just fallen over and eaten shit, and I was doing nothing to help him, so he finally gets back up, and he's still kind of mad at me, but I thought it was just hilarious. So, we end up going home, and we go to his house, and now here's the problem that I mentioned earlier, if you guys have been paying attention, is the fact that we had locked our fucking selves out with no key, no way to get back in, nothing of the sort. So what we had to do is, you guys remember Jacob? So we go into the backyard, because, you know, the gate's open, whatever, the gate's unlocked, it's not a big deal. So we had, you know, Brad has put his bike back in his thing, I had put my bike back where it was. We had our bags kind of outside by the garage with our shitty tents that I showed you guys a picture of earlier. So we were like, okay, there was a glass sliding door at the bottom of the stairs. So Jacob was sleeping in the living room. And so we were like kind of lightly knocking on the door to get him to come out. And I was just kind of chilling, you know, waiting by, you know, because I expected him to do it. It's his house, whatever. So Jacob is the deepest sleeper that has ever slept on this goddamn earth. So he did not wake up. Like, he's like a freaking holy mammoth when he sleeps. So he did not wake up at all. And eventually Brad starts knocking so loudly that his mother, in her like nightgown or whatever she was wearing, she comes down and she's like, Brad, what the fuck are you guys doing out here? And she was like really irate. She was cussing at us. And, well, kind of, she was like, you know, just angry, I guess you could say. And so, Brad is the best liar ever. It was fantastic. I don't even remember exactly. I wish I could quote him. But I remember certain parts of what he said to his mom. So he's basically like, Mom, okay, here's the deal. So, you said we couldn't, because we had asked earlier that night, sorry, I forgot to mention this detail. We had asked earlier that night if we could camp outside and sleep with the tents outside. She said no for whatever fucking reason. I don't remember why. Maybe she didn't think we were old enough or whatever. But, you know, I mean, we're going to go to Canada and go to India or whatever. So, I mean, we're old enough to do that, right? No, so she's, like, really mad. She's, like, yelling at Brad. She's like, why the fuck are you guys outside? And why can't you get in? So he's like, look, Mom, I'm sorry. You know, the doors are locked or whatever. And, we had gone outside because we were going to camp outside. You know, it's my birthday. I'm sorry, but I know you said we couldn't, but we really wanted to and whatever. So I'm like, yeah. And she's like, why isn't Jacob camping outside? It's like, oh, he didn't want to, whatever. So he's just like lying his way out of this thing. And she's eventually like, you know, what are the backpacks for? It's like, oh, you know, we wanted to simulate camping or something. I think we said that. I don't know if the backpacks were hidden at the time, but I'm pretty sure they were hidden at the time. So she was like, you know, okay, whatever, you guys come in, but do not fucking wake me up again. You guys are staying inside, you're going to sleep, and that's going to be them. Because this was about 3 in the morning at this point, because our whole endeavor lasted a little while. And so eventually, once his mom goes upstairs, we waited about 15-20 minutes just chilling in the room talking, like, this is a good thing. You know, we haven't been caught, fuck yeah, we got out of this. And I'm like, oh shit, we gotta pack all the food and give the lighter back and, you know, put the pot back. And so we all unloaded everything and everything was peachy. And then, yeah, we basically went to sleep and woke up and everything was fine. It was the best thing ever that we did not get caught. It was his birthday. You know, it was insane. That story was fucking epic. I really hope you guys did enjoy. Don't forget to click like if you did enjoy and subscribe for more stories. I have a ton of these on my channel. And I hope you guys enjoyed. Have a good day, and remember the fact that I love you.